Last weekend, we got a new Looney Tunes movie in theaters called The Day the Earth Blew Up. Here's my ranking of all four Looney Tunes movies, from the worst to the best. In last place is Space Jam: A New Legacy, a movie that feels more like it was made for shareholders and stakeholders for Warner Brothers rather than a movie-going audience. The film is essentially a long ad for HBO Max and the Multiverses game. There's a joke about how hiring athletes for acting jobs never goes well, and that feels like a lazy excuse because they know LeBron James can't act. Every line he says is wooden. The film also spends an odd amount of time spoofing movies that the kids in the audience will get and shouldn't be watching anyway due to their R ratings. Films like Mad Max, Austin Powers, The Matrix, Game of Thrones. This feels like a really long Super Bowl ad for HBO Max. The movie is called Space Jam, and they're not even in space. The only two good elements to this movie are Don Cheadle as the villain, because he gives a mildly fun performance, and the joke about confusing Michael B. Jordan for Michael Jordan.
I found Michael Jordan! He was in the audience! I know he can help!
Is Ennis? You found him?
I can feel his power already!
Ooh, I can hear his shoes! At guard, 6'6" from North Carolina, number 23, Michael Jordan!
Come on, man. That's Michael B. Jordan, the actor. I was just getting some popcorn, and then this cat grabbed me.
We couldn't get Michael A. Jordan, so we got Michael B. Jordan? How could you think he was his Ennis? They look nothing alike.
It's been 25 years. I thought he aged gracefully.
Other than that, this just feels like a self-indulgent mess. Number 3, Space Jam. Ironically, the movie that actually is based on a commercial feels less like a commercial than its sequel.
Air Jordan and Air Jordan.
What'd you expect? Elmer Fudd?
Though the film was a product of the times, it still got some charm to it. The jokes work pretty well, the story is wacky like it should be, and at the end of the day, it's just a good time, even if it feels trapped in the decade it came out. Number 2, Back in Action. A fantastic, hilarious plot spoofing spy movies, with Brendan Fraser giving a hilarious performance, Steve Martin as a delightfully cartoony villain, a plot that's reminiscent of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, jokes aplenty that poke fun at the Looney Tunes and other Warner Brothers properties, the movie-making process in general, and a ton of cartoon hijinks and shenanigans. It's wacky, it's out there, it's everything a Looney Tunes movie should be. And in first place is The Day the Earth Blew Up, the only fully animated movie on this list. And the animation in this movie shows why Warner Brothers is one of the top animation studios. It's fluid and gorgeous. The visual gags and slapstick humor you expect from Looney Tunes are all here in this film. There are a few clever fourth wall breaks, one of which I think was one of the best jokes in the movie, and for the most part feels like classic Looney Tunes. Key phrase here being, for the most part. There are unfortunately a couple of times in the first act where it feels like the humor is trying too hard to appeal to Gen Z by being trendy, and it took me out of the film, because it no longer feels like the world of Looney Tunes in those scenes. Fortunately, those types of jokes are only in the first act, and they go by pretty quickly. The film is a fun buddy comedy teaming up Porky Pig and Daffy Duck, who work well off each other with the dialogue and humor. The plot feels straight out of a cheesy 1950s sci-fi movie, mixed with a Futurama episode, with references to classic sci-fi films such as Invasion of the Body Snatchers. The film has relatively good pacing, and a clever third-act twist, as well as a payoff to a Chekhov's gun. This is one of the best animated films of the year so far. Go see it and support 2D animation. It's great for kids and adults, and it comes in at number 1. So go ahead and share your ranking of the Looney Tunes movies, or at least the ones that you've seen, and let me know what you thought in the comments.
That's all, folks.